there's probably not very much people that have a personality like me where
No, trust me. That's the realest thing you said all day, Shawnee. That's the realest thing you said, man.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is the Echols Unlimited podcast. I'm your host, Terrence Echols. And today I have the very good privilege of having a repeat guest on this show, one of my very good friends, teammates, colleague, whatever you want to call him, Sean McGee. Sean is the assistant coach at Wesleyan College. He's recently just finished off his stint over at Manhattanville College. And he is also the GM and founder of the TBT team, Mental Toughness. Sean, how you doing today?
Doing great, Terrence. Trying to come on here a second time, do better than the first.
Yeah,
And just excited to get talking about whatever we're going to talk about.
exactly, dude. And I think you're my second person who's appeared for the second time. Third person. Matt harassed me. Braden Bell beat you to it.
Are you kidding me? Those two guys beat me to it. I mean, I would be okay with somebody else, but not those two.
I know, but yeah, it happens, man. Got to do what you got to do. So, I really just wanted to get you on here because, starting the Mental Toughness team and founding that team and watching you guys play on ESPN last year was such a cool experience for me to see, a couple of my friends, I know Zach Kelly was a part of it, and, one of my former assistant coaches, Kevin Driscoll, is also part of it. So It's something I was super proud of you guys for, something that I really enjoyed watching. I wish you guys won that game. Such a good game.
Don't even get me started. I still think about the last shot that we didn't get the rebound for. Like, if we just grabbed the rebound, we got a chance to win the game. But I won't even go there yet.
Exactly, bro. And then you have to think about the fact that, it is Derek Williams and Terrence Jones, two,
Casper Ware.
Yeah.
And they had Klay Thompson's brother too.
Jeez. Yeah. They had a loaded roster. I mean, so did you guys. You guys were no slouches at all. But let me just start off by asking, where did you get the idea of starting Mental Toughness? And, talk to me about the process of getting that whole TBT thing going.
Yeah. It seems long ago, but it really wasn't. It started in March of 21, where really before that, though, maybe a month or two before that, I said, I've always watched the TBT. I said, I've always wanted to do it. And then during COVID, I had all this downtime really, between, not really having a season. And I was like, what can I do to at least attempt to try to get into the TBT? And I know it was far-fetched from me being only 22 years old.
Yeah.
But I basically found someone to reach out to and ask what do I need to do? And I still remember, and Zach will tell you the same thing. I got an email back from one of their player personnel guys at the TBT. And I took a Snapchat of the email and I sent it to Zach and I said, don't tell anybody, but I'm gonna make a TBT team. And that was the start of really, in the end, it turned out to be Mental Toughness. But in reality, I didn't know necessarily what TBT team I wanted to do yet. I really wanted to try to see if I can make a Marist alumni team. That's what I want. That's what I was trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then after reaching out to a couple of Marist pros, I didn't get so many yeses, and I got maybes from people, and then I got a bunch of no's. So I didn't have enough people that played at Marist that are pros to help me out. I was in contact with Rick Smits, who played in the NBA. I wanted him to be the GM, and then Jared Jordan, who was also drafted, I wanted him to be a player/coach.
Yep.
And then he actually has a job in real estate or something. He's doing great. But he didn't have any time to do it too. I think he has a family. So I all understood that. And then when I didn't have kind of the big names for Marist, I kind of pivoted to make Mental Toughness. And I still remember we didn't even have a name yet. So we figured out okay, we got to pivot. This is how it's going to happen. And then we come across John of the JCK Foundation, and we have a Zoom call with him. And it was a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you think? And I just was thinking of names. I had my name kind of picked before we went on the Zoom call with him, but we had a Zoom call like this. And we're
What was
talking
the
about
name?
like mental toughness.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, mental toughness ended up being the name, but he's like, you guys have a name for it? And I was like, well, I'm thinking mental toughness. And he goes, oh, that's so sick. Like, we got to do this, blah, blah. And he's like this very passionate human being, and just passionate about spreading mental health awareness too, because of his friend who took his own life. And, you know, it was just kind of this storm of us perfectly working together. And now, and we still work together now and getting into the second tournament this summer.
Right.
But basically it's crazy to see how it's turned from just an idea that I had into a team that's asking to, you know, not only did I get in, but we played well. We didn't win a game, but we played well. We got credibility. And right after we lost that game, the TBT in general was just like, wow, you guys did such a great job in your first year. Because it's very easy to go in there and play a team like that and lose by 25 points.
Yeah.
And not make the game entertaining. But we,
Yeah.
you know, we stuck in there, made the game entertaining. Obviously, we wish the ball bounced a little bit one way than the other, but made it entertaining. And they were really nice. They really, I don't know the word. They were really excited about what we did in the first year, which or flowed over into this year, where they're working with us more and asking like what, you know, working with us rather than like trying to fight for our lives to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see how the idea went from that to now, like they value us as a team, in actually being in the tournament and working with us closely. Maybe if we lost by 25 points, that maybe wouldn't have been the case. So it's like, it's a huge stepping stone, sort of tournament. Like the first year, obviously we wanted to win a game, or we wanted to win the whole tournament, but the biggest thing was to be competitive, you know, not lose by 30 points. And then this year, like, I think the next step for us is win a game or two. And obviously the main goal is to win the $1 million and use the platform to destigmatize mental health.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, my goal is go from where we were, win a couple games this year. If we can win it all, that'd be amazing. It'd be a miracle. If not, win a couple games this year, and then the next year win a couple more games, and next year win a couple more games, and hopefully get that $1 million and use, you know, donate a big portion of it to the JCK Foundation and what they do, and then give some money in the players' pockets. But obviously, overall, the goal for us is to play and get awareness out for the foundation that we're partnered with, and then really, you know, it's kind of cliche, but give people hope. Like, I really hope that, or I guess I don't want to say the word hope again, but I really hope that us playing last year, like if there was somebody watching, like how we played and how we didn't give up during the game, like even though we were down double digits, you know, maybe
two lottery picks.
Exactly.
Mine.
Exactly. And maybe, you know, someone watching who might be struggling at the time got some hope just from watching us play. So like that's the big thing. And I know it's a topic right now that's still getting talked about, and it needs to get talked about more in today's society, especially coming off of COVID. But that was a long answer for you, but it's really cool to see what, you know, it's almost like my baby, if that makes sense, like my idea. And it's like, it's so hard for me not to want to spend so much time in it, even though like I have to, you know, I have responsibilities at Manhattanville. I'm going to have responsibilities at my new job. I'm doing stuff with AAU basketball and hoop group. So it's like, I'm getting pulled in all these different directions, and I wish I could just, you know, stick with mental toughness, but I put as much time as I can into it. And I think we're going to have a really successful year this year. I don't know how many wins we're going to get, or if we're going to get any wins, but, you know, we've built a good roster so far. We're still trying to get 2 more guys, and then we're getting different camps and fundraisers set up, and different little social media things. So that's the biggest challenge of it is actually fundraising. And it's interesting because, you know, everyone's like, oh, you just get a team in the tournament, you go there, and you're not. It's like, we fundraised $10,000 last year, and it wasn't even enough. And we're flying guys to Wichita, doing COVID tests for the guys who weren't vaccinated, and all this different madness. You know, get in hotel rooms and get in a basketball court. Like, it's interesting because it is 90% operations and all that stuff, and 10% coaching. Like, you do all your work outside of actually coaching the game. Like you coaching the game is like the only basketball thing you actually do. And the whole rest of it is you
like
talking.
finally,
yeah. It's
I
like,
can coach.
oh, we're here. Like we're here. That's how it felt last year. But it's like it's so rewarding at the same time. Like we did all this work and no one knows how hard it actually is unless you're in it. You do all this work and now you're on ESPN at Wichita's home arena in front of really cool fans.
Yeah.
And this year, like I can't imagine what if I can say that we're most likely going to be in Rucker Park, or Syracuse is the other region. But if we're in Rucker Park, I can't imagine the atmosphere it's going to be. And also the foundation's only 30, 45 minutes away. So we should get a ton of fans if we were in Rucker Park too. So that's going to be really interesting to see. And I'm just really excited for this year. It's a lot of work and I get stressed out. I can't say I don't, but it's very rewarding at the same time.
Hey, Sean, let me just tell you right now, you're not even showing the stress right now. You look great, buddy.
You can't see my gray hairs right now. That's what it
is. Bad Zoom camera. But no, dude, and I remember those days like early on when you guys were trying to make things happen. I remember Zach. Zach and I we're close. We're good friends. So we hadn't hung out in a while. It was after the season, so everyone was off like doing their own little thing. And I remember Zach just came over one day and we sat in the bee bags in my apartment over in Gartland, and we were just sitting there. And he's just like, "Oh, I'll stop over and talk to you for a few seconds," because we just hadn't talked in a while. He ended up staying for like almost like it was a long chat we had. But Zach's a great guy, and he's like, "Yeah, so we may be starting a TBT team. Your boy Sean McGee has been up to stuff." So I'm like, he's like, well, he the way he introduced it, he's like, "Yeah, your boy Sean McGee is up to something." And I'm like, oh boy,
up to something.
What on earth could that be? What could Sean be doing?
That could mean a lot of things, and
Exactly. And that was my biggest fear. But when I heard that it was going to be this, and when I heard the type of foundation it was, and I heard what you guys were going to be trying to advocate for, I immediately, I was like, man, this is so cool. This is super dope that you guys are able to put this all together. Like, people don't understand, like, the TBT is something that's so competitive. Like, we have, in Syracuse, being from Syracuse, being a Syracuse fan, we have Boeheim's Army, and they just won it for the first time. They've been playing in that tournament for, I want to say 6 or 7 years.
I think it's been around a tournament. I believe this is going to be their 8th year.
Exactly.
And I think they've been in it for 6 years as well.
Yeah. And this is Boeheim's Army, like former Syracuse players, like lottery picks, top 10 picks, like guys who have played extensive careers in the NBA who are now either overseas or about to retire. Like, they just come and they play for Syracuse, and the fans get behind it. They host a regional. They're hosting one this year. They hosted one a few years back. The place was packed the entire weekend. Like, even not even for Syracuse fans. It's like that we love basketball here, and the fact that the team finally broke through and won the TBT championships just shows just how competitive this tournament is, how high level the players who are playing it are. So, as someone who's coming from your experience, Sean, I mean, I know you've had the chance to work with some amazing basketball players throughout, your short coaching career. And I don't mean that like short as in like, oh, he hasn't really been doing this, but you're 23 years old, bro. And here you are, already, a couple years into working at one college and going to another school, and now you're also doing this. It's like, you've worked with some really good players, myself included, but what is it like for you to sort of, I don't know, just be a part of something that's just become such a huge, summer event, not only within the basketball community, but in sports in general? Like, we have daily talk shows on sports talking about the TBT and giving it light. So what is that like for someone like you?
Good question. Sometimes honestly it can be a little bit overwhelming just because of everything else going on. But I try to step back sometimes and like look at the really cool picture. Like yes, it's all this work, but
Mhm.
then you talk about all the relationships I've made from being in the TBT, all these cool players and coaches I have met because of being in the TBT, like players that I, honestly, when I was a manager at Marist, like that I dreamed of working with, like guys, there's guys on our team that were in the G League last year, even after the game, like the TBT is like a big family too. So
Yep.
it's like, we're battling on the court, but like all the guys are, respect each other and stuff like that. We lost that game. And then, 2 hours, 3 hours later, we're in the hotel lobby. Derek Williams is right there talking to guys, or we're talking to the broadcaster of the game in the hotel lobby, or the assistant coach of the LA Cheaters. So
Mhm.
that has been really cool, in terms of the people I have talked to and met due to the TBT and being a part of it. Um, but like to grasp like what it's really like, it's hard to explain. And like actually, even when I flew back, we lost the game. I stayed in Wichita actually for another day. And
Yep.
I think this story will kind of encapsulate what it's kind of like, or what I put into it, is that I worked this, for 4 months straight, like no nonstop. Like we didn't even know if we were gonna get in. Like
Yeah.
like we were just working so hard. And we played the game. It was an emotional game. We lost. Like guys were so disappointed, but like so excited, like what we did at the same
Yeah.
time, like and what we were playing for. Um, we get on the plane, we get, we got a connecting flight because there ain't no flight from Wichita to New York. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We finally get back to New York. It's me, Zach, and John, the founder of the JCK Foundation. We get back to my house, and we're all just hanging out. We're sort of just talking. About what has gone on, and when what we did, and John's he's a very energetic guy.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
a
just
very
not even like in your guys' social media, but also like, yeah, I've
in
seen,
life,
he
like
seems like a very exciting guy.
he's so positive all the time, and it's crazy, because he struggles with some things too, and it's almost like you would never know, because
Mhm.
he's so positive all the time. And when he's about to leave he was at my house, we hung out for a little bit, and he's about to leave my house, and we started talking about like, yo man, like he's like, we did it, like we didn't win, but like you did it, like you got us in the tournament, stuff like that. And like and like in that moment I'm like trying, it's almost like a flashback of like everything that like what we did, and like the long nights I had. Like I was working at Hoop Group, and I was at East Stroudsburg the
Yep.
whole summer while I'm setting this up, and there was nights where we would do, let's say, an academic elite camp or a basketball camp, and I'm working till 12 o'clock at night doing scheduling for the next day. And then
Yep.
from 12 to 1:30, I was doing stuff for mental toughness, like texting people to go fund me link, or doing something on social media, like all this other stuff, or even emailing TBT at 1:30 in the morning. And obviously those were long nights, and then I'd wake up at 7 o'clock to do it all over again.
Right.
Um, and John's like, we did it. And like, he literally took my face, and he's like shaking my face. He's like, you did it. Like, and he's so positive. And like, in that moment, like I actually like got like teary eyed. Like, I'm like, wow, like I did it. And also side note, I'm way less emotional about it now, but heading into that tournament, my Nana just passed away too.
Mhm.
And she always said like, I'm going to watch you on TV one day. And so like, I got, I'm just thinking about like how, like I actually, she wasn't there to really see it, but I know she was watching from above. And
Absolutely.
I was just thinking like I did, like he's telling me I did it, and like
Mhm.
it just went from this idea into actually getting it. Is very emotional,
Right.
and it still is. Like you, if you tell me we go in there and win a game or win a couple of games, and we get, and it kind of blows up, in our face, like that, it's gonna be emotional, and you got to learn how to deal with it. But I think that story kind of shows like how much I care about it. And it's hard for me because like I wish I could put even more time into it.
Right.
But it's not like, trust me, it's not like I make any money from this. But it's something I'm just so extremely passionate about. And I built, even last year, like one thing in terms of just in life, like there's no way I even get even close to getting into the TBT if I didn't have the right people around me to help me out. Like with Coach Kevin Driscoll helped me out.
Yeah.
I had Josh, he helped me get the players. We were just working so well together. He basically did all the work in getting the players, and I did all the work with the TBT, trying to market ourselves and get into it, and working with them, saying like why we should be in.
Yep.
And it's like I was 22 years old. I could do it a little bit more now, in all honesty, after doing the team and getting players myself. But even then, the head coach, Josh King, who was the head coach last year, helped me get a lot of these players too.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting because I think every year as we go on and on and on, I keep getting these more contacts for players that want to play. And like this year, we had so many players that actually wanted to play that we more or less have a waiting list of like 10 to 15 guys that were like,
That's sick.
they're probably good enough, but can we get better? And like that, that's kind of crazy to think that we went from a TBT team that nobody knew about to, people going into our DMs or so. I've gotten probably like 5 texts from various coaches saying, hey, I got this guy and he wants to play for your team. Like that didn't happen last year. We had to go out and find people. So it's really cool to see like that maybe this is just the beginning of mental toughness becoming like a staple team, almost like Sideline Cancer, if you know them.
Yep.
I would love it if we got to that point where we're a team that every year, like, about, like, and that it's
Challenge ALS, all those teams. Mm-hmm.
And it's just really, it's awesome. It's just, it's awesome to see what it is and the relationships that have come from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Sean, we've known each other, 5 years now? We walked into Marist as freshmen together, and, we both within the basketball program, we had our ups, we had our downs. But I mean, one thing that I've known and I've seen in you and the type of person that you are, and in not growing up, but like just seeing you over the past few years, is you're a very ambitious guy. I remember you were talking about starting your own business. You did that. You were talking about, oh, I'm gonna be a basketball coach. You did that. You were like, and you ended up graduating early, and you did that. And like, you keep doing things, Sean. You keep surprising everybody. You keep like, how do you keep doing that? Like, talk about like the type of person you are and the type of person that, you have to be to do those types of things. Because I remember you were talking about putting together a business plan for an app that you were going to make at what, 18, 19 years old? And you're going into these business meetings. I remember, I mean, you were putting on a suit, trying to look all fly and all that, but I mean,
that's Sean, the thing. Yeah, I was trying. I was fooling everybody. I didn't know what the hell. I still don't know what I'm doing. I don't like. I think I know how to answer your question. It's part of it, honestly, is like just showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you show up through all the stuff going on, and be present and take in and absorb everything that's going around you to make you better in whatever you're chasing or whatever you're doing.
Yep.
And at the same time, like, helping your own self like develop, if that makes sense. There is like there's no way I'm not special. Like I'm not like this genius. A lot of it, man, like, and it's gonna be interesting because it's like, how long can you grind for?
Yeah.
But like me, like yeah, you talked about the app and everything like that. Like I was doing the app, being a manager, doing school, and like I think like just from starting like that, it just gave me this like insane work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm the hardest worker in the world, or I'm definitely not the most intelligent person in the world, but like I just won't let people outwork me. Like a lot of people, there are some people I'm sure that do a little bit more work than me.
Yeah.
But like the majority of people and the majority of coaches, like I'm not going to be the smartest, but like if there's something I don't know, I'm going to figure it out. Like,
yep.
And if there's a, for example, a lot of the thing, like I said, is just showing up. Like me, I'm going to be driving hours to recruit for my new job. And it's like, I could like kind of complain like, oh, I gotta go here, I gotta go here. It's like, all right, let's go recruit, let's go make it, let's have a good outlook about it. Let's find some good kids and let's do it. I'm watching at the end of the day, like I'm my job is basketball right now. So that part helps out a lot. But I've always been an ambitious person. And part of the reason why I like mental toughness so much is that it's really more, it's almost more like a startup.
Yeah.
And
So you still get that same sort of feel.
Exactly. It's almost more like a startup, and like you're trying to make the numbers work. Like my first year, we took a deficit. This year, I'm hoping to break even. And then the following year, hopefully I get to give some money out to some people that actually help us, run the whole thing, and staff and things like that. But I've just always been a person that's wanted to go out and create things. And even like when I did journalism at Marist, like I always wanted to tell stories. I always wanted to create things and kind of communicate with people. And whether that's business or basketball, like I've kind of, mental toughness has been like the best of both worlds, because it really is business. Like I'm trying to get sponsorships right now, and that has nothing to do with basketball.
Right.
Nothing at all. And I think the biggest thing is you can't be afraid to fail. Because, and that might be cliche too, but when I was
truth.
It is the truth, because when I was 22 and I was talking about making this TBT team, there was definitely some people that like, dude, you're probably wasting your time. Like you're 22 years old, like and it's you might be wasting your time. And yeah, how do you think you can get in? Like what are the players you're gonna get? Like all these things. Like, do you even have a concrete idea? And it's like you just go stepping stone, stepping stone, stepping stone, stepping stone. And then you'll be really surprised at where you'll be or what you'll achieve. If you just kind of put your head down and just work a little bit. Yep. I'm a big like checklist guy or like to-do list guy. Yeah. It's like every little thing, cross it off. Like even if it's a little thing, like there you go.
I keep this with me all the time, man. Anyone who knows me has seen me carry this around, dude. I'm big on that too.
I got my notes right here right now. It's a little light on my things to do, but that's not even my thing is I got people that joke around me because sometimes I have my desk out and I'll have 4 different notepads or like 4 different Post-its.
You're one of those.
Like I gotta do this and this, and it's like that's why sometimes I get so overwhelmed with like, because I have one thing for Manhattanville, one thing for this, one thing for hoop group, and it's like one thing for this, and it's like, where am I putting my time? Exactly. And that's another big skill that I think I learned in college and doing the app at first too. It's just like time management. Right. Like if you have decent time management skills, you're going to be okay. And if you have really good time management skills, like you can do so many things. And like, of course I've sacrificed a lot. Like you definitely need to sacrifice. And that's more than just like not going out to the bar with friends. Like, yes, I sacrificed that in college for sure. And I still sacrifice it now, like, because all my weekends are taken up by recruiting. Yep. When I had, even last year, for example, my best friend's Ray, who you knew from there.
Yep. Ray Santiago.
Yes, sir. You get a shout out on the podcast. He and a bunch of friends went to Nashville, Tennessee, and it was awesome. But when was it? Right before the TBT deadline, which I didn't want to do on the first year. I said I want to focus all my energy, and I know if I go there, I'm not gonna do that. And like that, like it's those things too. And then on top of that, the thing I don't want to say dislike, but the thing that's so challenging for me is the time that I give up with my family. Yeah. Especially like with my grandparents, for example, who are getting older. Like I don't get to see them as much just because I'm always on the road recruiting or doing this or doing that. That's the part where you almost have to like find a way to make it work, if that makes sense. But at the same time, it's basketball. Like for me, even when I was at Marist and while I was at Manhattanville, like the feeling, like it's like another family. Yep. It's like same thing with mental toughness. Like, we between the coaches and then the players, we did 4 days where we were just living with each other in a hotel, every meal together. Like, and it's crazy because that's only 5 days, but like you build these bonds with one another. And like, there's players that aren't playing with us this year. just because of various reasons and
Right.
schedule didn't work out. And it's not like any ill will or anything. It's, they want us to go out and win and things like that. And some of them, in all honesty, we're really proud of because they're too good to play in the TBT now. No, I'm being serious. Like some of them are either playing in the summer league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so some of them are either playing in the NBA summer league or they believe that they can get a Euro League contract, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like at that point, like the TV, we're trying to help out the players as much as, spread mental health awareness. So in that sense, like we're really proud of them. The fact that they're doing so well past us and having really good careers. I think I went on a little bit of a ramble, but it's hard. It's very hard to be successful and stand out because there's 100 other of me trying to do the same thing. But like, I also don't think, and maybe this is the one cocky part, I'm a cocky guy. Maybe it's the one cocky part I can say on the podcast is that like, there's probably not very much people that have a personality like me where
trust me. That's the realest thing you said all day, Shawnee. That's the realest thing you said, man.
Yeah, but there really isn't like we talked about. I think even on the first podcast is like I'm just brutally honest and I'm going to tell you how it is. But at the end of the day, like I love you and like I really care for you. And I think on top of that, like my ability to make relationships with coaches and players, I just think I'm able to do it easier than some other coaches. And then you match that with my work ethic and how I started junior year of high school coaching with my dad and Brewster. My dad's a coach, so I've seen him coach at a young age. Like you mix all that together and it's like this kind of perfect storm, if you want to say, of where I am now. Like I still have such a long way to go in terms of my career and where I want to get even mental toughness. But I think I'm on a pretty good start here. And who knows where this game of basketball is going to take me. I'd love to be a head coach one day.
Exactly, man. And we may have touched on it in the last podcast, but I mean, the game will take you so far, and like it's not just like in terms of playing, like how you can impact the game and the game can impact you. I know you played, as a young kid, and I'm so glad that you made the decision to stop playing the game of basketball.
Because I stunk.
Oh, but hey, man, but I mean, now you are still impacting the game. You are still just as important to the game as you were before, maybe even more now because you found like a role in a career path that is going to help you out in the future, man. And so you mentioned coming out of Marist and then going to Manhattanville. I haven't had the chance to. The last time you came on, we were talking about that transition process and what that was going to be for you. You just finished year 2. Talk to me a little bit about your experience at Manhattanville and what you're going to take away into your next in your next adventure at Wesleyan.
Yeah, man, it was. I think it was the perfect thing for me. I worked under a head coach, Chris Alisi, who I will thank every day of my life until hopefully I'm a head coach, because he kind of set the foundation for me for, what a coach should be and how to conduct a program and how to build a winning culture.
Yep.
Excuse me. He, for example, went to Manhattanville, and the first year he was there, my first year was the COVID year. Yep. His first year at Manhattanville as the head coach was the year before, and he was 16-10. Then we had the COVID year during my year. And, being a Division I manager and coaching high school and getting an early start on, let's say, scouting reports or knowing how to do synergy and film, that stuff was all helpful. And honestly, I still need to learn so much more about synergy. Like you never can learn enough. But, I'm kind of going into Manhattanville saying like, oh, I know how to, I've never recruited before, but I know these schools because I've coached in high school in Section 1, and I know where the good players usually are. Like I can help out with that way. And it's like I went into Manhattanville having no idea how to do recruiting. I had no idea, credit card reports, and like, you just get like you get thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
And you just kind of sort of have to figure it out. And like, that's like the story of basketball. It's just figuring out, like, if you're a problem solver and not just like a complainer or a problem maker, like you're gonna find a way to make it in basketball, because that's really what basketball is. It's even when coaching, you're looking at a problem in a game. What's the adjustment to make to solve the problem? So if you're a problem solver, you can kind of do whatever you want in basketball, and eventually you're gonna move your way up.
Yeah.
But my time in Manhattanville was a blessing and sometimes a curse, because my second year, well, let me go to the first year. My first year was the COVID year, and we actually did a lot more than other schools. Most other schools just didn't even practice, especially in Division III.
Yeah.
So the greatest thing about Coach Alisi is that he gave me freedom as a 21-year-old to just go, hey, go work that guy out. Like, I don't need you to tell me what you're doing. Go work him out. Go make him better. Oh, you want to go make a scouting report? Yeah, you go make the scouting report. I'm going to tell you what I think about it, blah, blah. Like, he was a person that gave me a lot of freedom to go make mistakes and go get better as a coach, but at the same time was there supporting me along the way. Like, it's so interesting because the oldest player on the team was only 3 weeks younger than me. So,
yeah.
So, I'm not going to sit there too and act like I'm a know-it-all coach, and that all these players that, the seniors and graduate students are all the same age as me.
Right.
Realistically.
Yeah.
And I never tried to come off that way too. And same thing when I talk about work ethic, like when guys just see you work so hard and they see that you're trying to care and build relationships, like it's just gonna come. And like, that's the part where it's so hard, is where it's like you've made all these relationships at the school you're at, and then you're gonna go on to another school to go coach. But so the freedom gave me so much, like, it just helped me so much as a young coach in learning how to do this, how not to do this. And then you get put in different situations. Like, okay, I had this situation with a player, like maybe I shouldn't have talked to him like that way. And then next time it prepares you for the next situation. So that all happened the first year. And then the second year was like my true first season coaching college basketball.
Yeah.
And I was, so the part where I said it was a blessing and a curse is because I ended up being the only assistant at Manhattanville. So I had double the responsibility on top of grad classes. And it was a lot of work. And, I'm doing scouting reports. I'm doing travel plans. I'm doing food orders. I'm working out guys. I'm doing my own work. I'm doing, doing skill. Was in charge with the bigs most of the time. So I'm doing drills with, doing my own practice plan just for the bigs. And then, you're also working with the players day in and day out, whether you're scheduling lift times, like you're doing this whole list of things on top of coaching. And like I talked about the freedom part, it's like I was able to work out guys whenever I wanted, and they could text me and go work out, which only made me better. Like, I'm trying different things with them. It's like I almost was able to test things with players. And like, for me, like, I'm a very open, honest, like, communicator in terms as a coach. So it's like, all right, hey, like, well, I'm going to work you out, but like, what do you want to work on? You want to work on this? Okay, let's go work on this, but you need to do this, this, and that. Like, we got to get this better. And I saw you chuckling there. What was that about?
Yeah, because I know how you are, Shawnee. Yeah, you bad rep. Oh, that was terrible. Like, you won't let it. You won't hold any.
I'm more reserved. I'm more reserved now, I swear.
Oh, okay. Are you? Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not, I still get it. But like, for example, like when I don't know if anyone watching this knew I got the head coach a game because Coach Alisi got COVID.
Yep.
So like that experience in I mean, what a great experience it was for me. I'm like I never got hired, right? But and it was due to COVID. But I mean, what a cool thing to say that I was one of the youngest coaches ever to head coach a college game. Like that part's really cool to me. And not that I care. Like I lost the game. Like I still go back and think about like what I could have done better, what I could have done this. And I think every coach does that, right? But yeah, man, it's that experience, the ref, I remember the ref made a call one time that was a crucial call in the game. And he's like, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. And I'm just like, he tells me what he saw. He called a foul on one of our guys on like a rebound, which gave them a 1-and-1. And it was a close game. We ended up only losing by 2.
Okay.
And so like, it was a huge play. We had a great 30-second stance defensively where they chucked up a shot from half court and they got the rebound and then got fouled on the rebound. And I'm like, how are you calling that foul? And he's like, I'm coming over to you. I'm coming over. And he's telling me, he's like, your guy came in and slashed his arm, blah, blah, blah. And I just looked at him. And this is what I'm telling you, I'm more calm. I just looked at him and I said, you're wrong. I said, that's just not right. But like, what am I going to do? Like,
right. But that's such a Shawnee response. That's such a Sean response. I love that, man. I love that you can be yourself too in doing that.
It's so interesting because like that gave me a taste of like what I envisioned like to be a head coach, one day. And there was like no nerves during the game. Like when we were out there about to play, like, and I'm about to coach and make game time decisions, like there's no nerves. It was just me watching, observing a basketball game on the sidelines and making decisions that I thought would give our team the best chance to win. And it's just really, after that game, it kind of like reinforced that I really wanted to do it. And and then I, when things start to get hard and I'm like, I have long nights and early mornings in terms of basketball, it's like I think back to like, this is what I'm striving to get to. And like, I know it's going to take some nights or I know it's going to take time. It's going to take a hard work to get there. But that's really what I'm striving to do. And I definitely will never forget that experience ever in my life. Like all the guys too of that team, like they were so locked in. Like it never was like, this guy's the same age as us. Like, what the hell does he know?
Right.
It was, hey, like what you say, what is what we do. But like, I talked to you how like, I would probably say right, at least right now, I don't know if it will ever change, but I'm a very player centric coach. And even the last possession of the game, it was tied. We had to get one stop. I said, hey guys, do you want to go zone or we want to go man? Whatever we choose, we're going to win with. We didn't win, but we're going to win with. But like, I want us to be on the same page, and they wanted to go man, and they got a lucky floater is what they got, the other team. But we put them in a position, and the guys, they did it themselves. We were coming off 33 days of not having a game and only 2 practices.
Right.
Heading into a game, and then you're like, all right, go have the 23-year-old coach the game at the same time. So like, I was so proud of them, and it was such a cool experience. Obviously it would have been so cool to win, don't get me wrong. I also probably got a bad matchup considering it was the best team on our side of the conference. Like, come on, man. But such a great experience. And it was so funny because my phone blew up, right? Like it blew up like once people started to find out that I coached the game, like I had coached the game. Oh, that's so cool. Like, congrats. Like, I saw it, blah, blah, blah. And then when an article came out in the Poughkeepsie Journal, it was even more and more and more. And I was joking around. I was even on News 12. And I'm like, I said, you know what? Maybe I am going to enjoy this because this is the only time in my career where I'm going to get this much positive feedback for losing a basketball game. So, maybe let me soak it in a little bit. But it was so funny because I was like, hey, I texted my close friends. I'm like, you do know I lost the game, right? Like, and and I would trade all the publicity and the text to just win the game, like in a second. But it's not like I didn't try. It's not like my players didn't give all their effort too. It's just the ball didn't bounce in our direction. Sometimes it happens in basketball. Sometimes it happens in life.
Exactly. And I want to start, wrapping things up here, but I want to give you the opportunity, and I'm going to try to use my platform, whatever platform this is. I mean, it's not much, but I'm proud of it. Absolutely, to give you the opportunity to tell people and tell anyone who's listening to this, watching this, tell people how they can support mental toughness, how they can support the cause, how they can support the foundation. Just give you an opportunity to talk about that and plug whatever you need to plug, because I really want to see you guys, be able to do this for an extended period of time. I know you have an opportunity this year to either play, whether it's Syracuse or Rucker Park. I'm going to try to support you either way. Yeah, just tell the people, how they can support you guys, and really just give a brief, synopsis of what is the JCK Foundation and why is it so important to you?
Yeah, so let me start out with what the JCK Foundation is and why it's so important that we're partnered with them as a basketball team. So the JCK Foundation was started around 10 years ago by John Tessitore, who was John Kelly's best friend or one of his best friends. And John Kelly battled OCD and depression, and he ended up taking his life over 10 years ago. So John Kelly actually went to Fairfield, which is in the MAC, and he went to Fairfield, and he was something around sports journalism actually too. And for a project, he created like a 22-minute video on John Kelly's life and why his life, how what he experienced and how his life and how he ended up taking it, that it wouldn't go unnoticed, and that he would use it to help other people who might be struggling essentially. And so that from that classroom video, he worked at ESPN actually. And while he was at ESPN, he slowly made this into a nonprofit and made it into a viable nonprofit where he can do it full time, where he goes into schools, middle schools, high schools, some even colleges too, where he does these programs. A lot of them is called Legends programs. And he goes in and talks to these kids. Sometimes it's 300, 500 students, 1,000 students. And he talks about how they can deal with mental health issues, or if they're struggling, and make sure they're never alone, and different resources they can do. And basically, make kids just feel more positive about themselves, whether that's middle school, high school, or college students. And sometimes it goes so unnoticed, like, even after one of his programs where it's like maybe you have a kid check up on another friend that he wouldn't have done it without his program. And, I can read off a list of testimonials and quotes from students that he has gone into schools, and they're all like, this program was so good. Like it made me feel better about myself. And that's basically what he does. And now it's expanded so much so that he goes over to Sweden 2 or 3 times a year and does his same program to spread mental health awareness in those middle schools and high schools over in Sweden. So it's so similar. Like we share the same passion, because this nonprofit that he did for his best friend who took his own life, it started from a small idea, and now it's branched out where he has full-time workers. He's going over to different countries to do his programs. And same thing with mental toughness. I talked about it before. That started as a small idea, and then now look what it's become. So we're both, and the beauty of it is that we both feel like we haven't even scratched the surface, or reached our potential. So like we think we can just reach so many more people and try to spread positivity and give people hope who might be struggling by combining together. Like my biggest passions in life are basketball and spreading mental health awareness. It's like the best of both worlds. And John, obviously his main thing is the JCK Foundation, but he's a huge sports guy. And he actually coaches varsity girls basketball too. And it's just really cool to see how we have worked together, and to see that the amount of people we have touched between his programs and even all the followers on Instagram, social media. Like for people listening, if you want to follow us at Toughness TBT on Instagram and Twitter, like that's the best way to stay connected. Like we post all the GoFundMe links there, and different, like me and John, for example, in a couple of days are doing a cheeseburger eating contest. And like that's why we're going to raise money and just have some fun with it. And then on top of that, like I told you, long term, like I want to do camps and maybe some tournaments year round, and basically have the camps are to fundraise for the TBT team. But long term vision, I want to do camps and fundraisers where every basketball camp I run, 10% of it is going directly to the JCK Foundation to help them keep getting into new schools and keep doing what they're doing, and getting in contact with people that need help. So that's the main gist of what the JCK Foundation does. And then for us, like I said, like the mental toughness is more like a little startup, and every dollar we get helps. And trust me, I do not keep any of it. my bank account will tell you. And so, I'll give Terrence, I'll give you the GoFundMe link that maybe you can plug into the story, but basically we do all our donations there. And I'm actually next year, and everything's a slow process. Next year, I'm going to formally make Mental Toughness into a nonprofit LLC.
Awesome.
It's just a little bit too much stuff going on right now to do it.
Right.
But basically that's our main thing, is the GoFundMe. We also have a Venmo that people have donated to as well. It's called Mental Toughness TBT, which I can text you and hopefully put it in as well. But like we've done like some cool things, like a Venmo tree graphic, and now we're going to do the eating contest. And then a lot of it is word of mouth saying, hey, can you give $10? You give $1. Like honestly, $5-10 from 100 people, it goes such a long way. Mm-hmm. And that's basically, that's more or less what we do. And hopefully, if there are any basketball young high school kids, we're going to have 2 camps, June 17th at YMCA in Connecticut, and then June 24th, finalizing the insurance, but June 24th at Sarah Lawrence College as well. So
awesome. We're
doing that for young kids. And then we're going to do our first ever 3v3 fundraiser this year, which is awesome, for like all ages and all, females, males, anyone can sign up. And we're gonna try to make it a really cool thing. Hopefully we get like 15 teams and make a tournament out of it, a fun day, have a 50-50 raffle, do a 3v3, do a 3-point contest, me, and try to make a day. That's going to be June 26th, most likely at Sarah Lawrence as well. So great. That it's things are starting to come together, and hopefully we can raise a couple $1,000s from each of those events to get us close to our goals. But basically what the public can do is follow us at Toughness TBT for Instagram and Twitter, retweet, like our stuff like crazy. If you can give $1 or $2 to the GoFundMe link, that's awesome. I think we got over $1,000 right now just in the GoFundMe, which is a good start. And we still got a long way to go, all the way till middle of July. So that's really good. And I think what I'd like to ask people too is just to like spread hope. Like there's so much negativity around the world, man. I try, it brings me down sometimes too, but
Sonny.
I'm just saying with how the world can be.
Yeah,
no. But like, check on a friend, do that, like, and like anything, if anyone can reach out to a friend, ask them how they're doing. Like, I think that's awesome. And that, that helps our cause and what we're doing. But overall, Terrence, if you can get some of these subscribers of yours to share our stuff, that would be awesome. And $1 or $2 would go a long way, trust me. But overall, Terrence, this has been a lot of fun. So can't thank you enough for having me on.
Of course, Sean, anything for you, my man. I mean, you and I have been through it all, the ups and downs. So, anytime you need anything, you just let me know, bro. I got you.
I know, man. Same with you.
Yeah, no, Sean McGee, you're going to be one successful man one day.
We're trying.
You're trying. Hey, but I have to poke some fun at you. You realize the proper pronunciation of the word is tournament, right?
What did I say?
You keep saying tournament.
Tournament. Whatever, man. Just, we're going to get in. We're going to make some noise. Yeah. As long as we get some more money. I don't know, if we don't get more money, I don't know what's going to happen, but no, I'm just all joking, but
right.
We're going to get in, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to spread some help. We're going to spread some hope.
Awesome, man. Well, just know that I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of all that you're doing with this game. I know coaching is probably one of the most difficult, stressful, time-consuming, undervalued professions there is in this world. And I know if anybody can be successful at it, it's you, my friend.
Thank you, too. I appreciate that. I know you're doing big things already, but you're gonna do some bigger things. Definitely down the road.
I got you, man. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone who took the time to listen to this podcast. This is the Echols Unlimited podcast with my special guest, Mr. Sean McGee, currently the incoming assistant coach at Wesleyan College, as well as the founder and GM of Mental Toughness in the TBT. Sean, thanks again for coming on. Thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please don't forget to rate 5 stars in the Apple and You know, do whatever you do on Spotify.
And don't forget to donate to mental toughness.
Yes, and don't forget to donate to mental toughness as well. Sean, thank you again for coming on, my man.
Thank you. I'll talk soon.